ML Nation, this is Simon Chan. I'm fired up to bring a special guest today. This guy was one of those my mentors when I first started. I remember I was in Malaysia, 2005, growing a team, and I came across this book called The Napkin Presentation. I was like, I thought presentations need to be long. What do you mean on a napkin? Anyway, we have the one and only Don Failla. Hey, Don, are you ready to make it happen?
Yeah, I'm ready. Let's go.
Don and his wife, Nancy Failla, have been active in network marketing for over 50 years. They've been with the current MLM company for the last 24 years, and they started out by sponsoring just 4 people, which eventually led to over 1 million distributors and for over 325 people on Autoship. Don and Nancy also have been in the network marketing trainers since 1981, and wrote one of the most read books of all time in network marketing, when I talked about the 45-second presentation, also known as the also known as the napkin presentation. Don and Nancy have been married for over 55 years and have 2 sons, 5 grandkids, and live out in San Diego, California. So Don, welcome to the show. Why don't you take us back to 50 years ago? What were you doing and how did you come across network marketing?
Hey, you got to make one quick correction. You said 325. It's 325,000.
Yeah, I thought. Oh, I didn't say that. Okay, I'll fix that.
No problem.
Just give me a second. Which eventually led to over 1 million distributors and with over 325,000 people on Autoship.
Perfect.
All right, it's being edited. I'm sorry about that. I just came back from a baseball game. My mind's a little out of it, so we'll get better. Anyway, so Don, why don't you take us back to 50 years ago? How did you come across network marketing?
Well, back then we owned an international house of pancakes, and we had 35 employees. We were open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and I had 3 full days off in 4 years. So I know what it means not to be able to own any of our life. However, during the time of the pancake house, I became a friend with a customer who was in all the time. Well, he eventually invited me to go to a network marketing meeting, and that was my first exposure to network marketing. Of course, those kind of things are all antiquated now because we don't do those kind of meetings anymore. That's how I got started.
So what happened? Did you join, was it a hotel meeting? Was it a one-on-one meeting? And did you join right away?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, it was a hotel meeting. Yeah. And we joined right away. And it's just, it was a process. I tell people, like, they ask me what my number one recommendation is for a new person starting in network marketing. I tell them to get a job. Okay? Because I don't know of a network marketing company in the world where a person can pay their mortgage, their car payments, put food on the table, do the whole thing from their network marketing business. So, if you don't have, like, I had a spouse, Nancy, who actually supported our family. That was after we got out of the pancake house. And she actually supported the family for like 7 years while I was trying to figure all this stuff out. So you either have to have a spouse that can support you, or you have to have enough money saved up, to be able to support yourself for at least a couple of years while you're getting your business started. Now, the thing that's exciting about having to get the job is that you have a light at the end of the tunnel, because you have a way out where most people that have jobs, they're going to be stuck there for 30, 40 years.
So how did you do once you got started? Did you have a lot of success right away, or was your busy schedule just preventing you from?
Not a whole lot. It gradually grew, and we were learning things as we went. I think one of the biggest things that we came across was to get rid of the weekly opportunity meetings and change them to a weekly training meeting. Because I observed that, people would bring all their stuff down to the hotels, they'd set it up and get ready for the meeting and so forth. And a few people would show up for the opportunity meeting. Then after the opportunity meeting, everybody would go to the coffee shop and have a sizzle session. There were more people at the sizzle session than were at the meeting. So we adjusted that and started having training sessions. And we started learning things like, I don't know if you've heard this analogy before, but uh, if you owned a brand new Lamborghini or Ferrari, would you let your best friend go for a drive around the block in your brand new Lamborghini or a Ferrari if they didn't know how to drive?
Of course not.
Well, that's 100%. Okay, but now catch this. Everybody thinks their vehicle is the hot vehicle. And guess what? They go spend, these are the old days. Now things are done on a computer, though. They would go spend an hour and a half, 2 hours in someone's home telling them all about their company, product, and marketing plan, their vehicle, their hot vehicle. Okay? That person would go out the next day and talk to what could be their best prospects, and they were crashing and burning all over the place. You know why? Because nobody taught them how to drive. And see, that's the whole key to our success, is that we learned way many years ago that you don't talk about your products or your company or your vehicle until you find out if the person wants something and if they're willing to learn how to drive. And of course, that's where the book came about, because when people read the book, they see the number one important word in network marketing is understand. Because 100% of the people in the world not in it, they don't understand it. 80 to 90% of the people in the world in it don't understand it. And you'd be amazed how many company owners don't understand it. So when people would read the book, they would understand network marketing. And they knew how to drive. We coined the phrase, they knew how to drive.
How do you, as someone who joins, they're excited. How do you prevent them from sharing it, even when they don't know what they're talking about?
Well, we just have to let them know that, if you start talking to people about your vehicle first. See, here's the problem and why people fail in network marketing. Of course, I already mentioned the word understand. But see, everybody thinks it has something to do with selling. And the problem there is 95% of the people in the world don't want to have anything to do with selling. Right now there's over 130 million people in the world in network marketing, and that doesn't even count customers, and 90% of them don't have a clue what they're doing because they think they're in sales. See, have you seen this where you talk to someone who's been in network marketing for 15, 20 years, they've been in 4, 5, 6 different programs? Let me tell you exactly what happens there. Okay, someone recruited them, note the word recruit, to sell. We don't recruit people to sell for us. We sponsor people, so we go to work for them. So what happens, you can look at a genealogy of a salesperson in 6 months to a year. They could easily recruit 50 to 100 people, no problem. But then you look at the genealogy and they have not duplicated themselves one time. See, that's another important word, duplication, because you are not duplicated with the person you sponsor until the person you sponsor is 3 levels deep, because you have to teach that person how to teach that person, teach that person, so forth. And once you have the person you sponsored 3 levels deep, now you're duplicated, and that leg will go on forever. It's almost impossible to stop it. So what happens is the year goes by, the salesperson, they brought in, recruited all these people, but they have not duplicated themselves one time. They might be 1 level deep or a couple levels deep in a few places, no duplication at all. So now their people are dropping off faster than they can add them. So now they think there's something wrong with the company, the product, their sponsor. But guess what? Someone comes along and shows them another hot deal. Okay, so they see the hot deal, they're off into the next program. They do the same thing with that program they did with the first program. A year goes by, now they're ready for another program. I talk to people and I say 100% of the people not in network marketing don't understand it. And I'm talking to someone who's not in it now, but it's been in 5 programs. They say, well, Don, I understand it. I've been in 5 different programs. And I said, well, if you understood it, you'd probably still be in the first one and you'd be rich by now. So, we run into this all the time, that they just got to get it in their head that you don't get in your hot vehicle until you know how to drive. That's the way that works.
So you talk about understanding the mistakes people make. What are some common mistakes people make?
Well, talking about the vehicle.
Right. Aside from that, they're blabbering, they're talking too much.
Oh,
What are
they
the
talk too much. I mean, we kind of teach our people not to talk, because the more you talk, the more the people think they can't do what you're doing, and the more they think that they don't have time to do it. Okay. So, we've evolved to the point now where we have developed an app that can teach people how to drive. And this is so cool because, like we have the hat here. I'll put it on here. It says "Own Your Life," okay? And we have a pin on our collar. It says "Own Your Life." Now, a person will ask about the pin or the hat, and let's say they don't have a pin or hat, but if you are talking to a friend or someone you've made a connection with, you could ask them, have you ever thought about what it would be like if you could own your life? Now, they'll look at you a little strange because they don't really understand what that means. They've never heard this before. Well, see, that stands for having time, money, and health. Okay? Now, most people don't even know one person that owns their life that has all three. Young people, millennials, if they're making 60 to 100,000 a year, they have a little money. They don't have any time because of their commute and their job, things they have to do. Their health's okay. Older people, they have a lot of time, but they're running out of money and their health's shot. Okay? So it's a simple question. How would you like to have all three at a time in your life when you could enjoy it? I heard in the news just recently that the average person in America, when they retire, cannot put their hands on $1,000 cash in the event of an emergency. Okay? I mean, that's pretty sad. So who wouldn't want to own their life, have time, money, and health? Now, if they're interested at that point, now we can turn them over to the app and they can go ahead and I'll give you that. You can look at it in your spare time. Just go to funeveryday.com. Funeveryday.com.
That is cool. I love that domain name. And ML Nation, we will put that link, funeveryday.com. If you can't remember that, we'll put that link in the show notes page. When you go to mlnation.com, you'll be able to find it there. Let's take back to your journey. What was your, was there a specific light bulb moment, aha moment that happened, Don, where then your business really, really took off? Because I know you're having some progress and then really exploded and you became really successful.
Well, I think, it's with the company we're with now. We were very successful in several other companies before we were with the company we're in now, but we started with 4 people, one in Sweden, one in Norway, one in Italy, and one in Germany. And, we didn't have the technology we have today, which is really cool. But, we went to these countries and literally drove all around the countries meeting these people's friends and then meeting their friends. See, we tell people that you can train your mind for success when you go to bed at night. Now, when we did seminars, we've done seminars now in over 35 different countries, and we did 13 seminars in 14 days all over Australia. And I told them, when you go to bed at night, you don't have to count 60 million sheep to get to sleep. What you do is you put your head on the pillow and say, I'm going to make a friend, and I'm going to meet their friends. I'm going to make a friend, I'm going to meet their friends. I'm going to make a friend. You do that until you go to sleep for 1 week, and I'll guarantee you your mind is totally programmed for what you need to do to be successful in network marketing.
I love that. That is so good because that is really what networking is about. It's like tapping into someone's network. Meet a friend to meet their friends.
That's all we ever did. I've never in my life, in over 50 years, I've ever run an ad or bought leads. I've never done that. Never had to. Because if you work downline and duplicate, go down 3 levels deep, time you get down a few levels deep, you got so many people to meet in your downline. Why are you always, I tell people, why are you wasting your time out looking for people when you should be helping the people you already have?
Great point. Good stuff here. Um, Here's one of my favorite questions. Um, in your 50 years, what was your worst moment in network marketing? To the point that maybe you had even second thoughts about it, but you didn't quit. You stayed in there, and that's why you are where you are today.
Um, that's a pretty tough question because I haven't really had that many worst moments other than being terminated for a company one time because I got involved in another company just to be able to get their products. And I went to a meeting. I was invited to the meeting, and the owners of the company I was building with, they had some people at that meeting, and they asked me to say a few words because of my notoriety. I refused. My wife said a few words, about 20 minutes, didn't mention any companies or anything. And that next Tuesday, when I was supposed to have my check, no check. Okay. They terminated me. And the thing is, they never even had the courtesy to be able to let me talk to them to tell them that what I was doing. I wasn't building another company. And so, you got to be careful, about cross sponsoring, which we never do, but that was probably the worst thing ever happened. But, that's all ancient history now.
So if someone's new, I mean, we have a lot of listeners who are new to the profession. They hear that story. They'll say, like, so what's so good? If a network marketing company can do that to you, what's so good about this profession? Why would you stay with it?
There's certain ethics you have to be involved. This particular owner of this company, and I won't mention it, but, it just wasn't the right company. And of course, the company we're with now, they've been in business 80 years, and it's not Amway, just so you know that. But anyway, they got a great philosophy. Their philosophy is to make quality products, pay their checks on time. Okay? They do not have a marketing manager. Now, you'll be interested to note this. A lot of these companies, they grow to a certain point and they start to fail, right?
Yeah.
Well, the problem is that people come into these companies. Remember, nobody taught them how to drive. So they might sign up a few people, but then they're done. They don't keep sponsoring more people. And the reason people don't sponsor more people is because they think they're looking for salespeople and they don't understand network marketing, so they don't know how to properly talk to them. So anyway, what happens is that somebody has seen some of these giant companies, these people become billionaires, and they think, oh, I got this hot product, and they go through the motions and get their company ready to start and so forth. They could spend a lot of money, millions possibly, okay? They all make the same mistake, all the same. They hire a sales manager. Now, why is that a mistake? Well, very simple. We're not in sales, we're in network marketing. And they don't understand network marketing. They think that person hired that person to recruit people to sell their hot product. We don't do that. We sponsor people and teach them how to build a family of consumers. I mean, the company we're with, like 95% of, actually it's closer to 1.3 million people that come into our business, okay, come from the original four. And we do like over 12 million a month in volume from that company. Now, granted, another word you got to be careful with is using the word business. Because what do most people think of when they think of a business? They think of brick and mortar, employees, inventory, payroll, long hours, and so forth. Now, granted, network marketing is a business, but it's not like that kind of business. The business we have with our, over 350,000 or 325,000 people on auto ship out there doing like 12 million a month in volume. Every one of these people get their products directly from the company. I don't have to handle any of those products. And all these people have got their bonuses and so forth coming. We don't have to pay them the bonuses. The company takes that all for them. When, you show me how many businesses you know of where people have over 1 million people in their business, and I don't even have a secretary. I mean, that is pretty amazing. I mean, you really own your life. One thing I would like to mention to you, I think something you might be interested in, is how the book came about.
Yes, I was going to ask you, when did it first, I know it's gone through many editions, when did the first one come out, and what motivated you to come out of that book?
Okay, the book's been out now for a little over 36 years. And 10 years before I had the book, I used to, every new person coming into our business, we would either sit down with them or call them. Like we were living up in the Northwest, somebody sponsors someone on the East Coast. We do this on the phone. We'd spend 3 to 4 hours teaching people what became known as the napkin presentations. Now, napkin, because we would be in a restaurant, we'd grab a napkin, sketch things out for them on the napkin, and so forth. And that would take about 3 to 4 hours to do that properly. Now, once we did that, the person understood network marketing. And of course, once they understood it, then we coined the phrase that now they know how to drive, okay? We did that for 10 years and was very, very successful. Then I got burned out. I said to Nancy, I can't do this anymore. We were with our 2 boys at a junior tennis tournament in Tucson, Arizona for 1 week. And while there, I made an outline of the napkin presentations that I've been using successfully all those years. We got back to the Northwest with 14 people in the room. I did the first presentation on the napkin presentation to a group, and then I redid it again. It was about an hour and a half. I condensed it down to 1 hour. Now, probably the smartest or luckiest thing I've done in my entire life, other than marry Nancy, is that I didn't mention the name of the company I was with when I did the presentation. Well, the tape got out into a lot of different companies, and in just over 3 months, it sold over 10,000 copies. Okay, from the tape, the book was written, and the book has gone over 10 million copies. It's in all the major languages of the world. It's in about 20 languages and keeps coming out and more all the time. And you know, I have never, ever had to look for a publisher, because what happens is there are people out there that start using my book and they see how much success they're having with it. So they call up and they want to get the book, but they're in a different country. And I say, well, you know, it costs more to send it to you from America. Then why don't you just, you know, I'll give you permission. You go check with 3 printers, get your best price, pay our royalty, and you can be our publisher. So our publishers are like a publisher that publishes just one book, mine, okay? Where a traditional publisher, you know, they might do 10, 20, 30 books a year, and they have distributors, they go to bookstores. Now, we have a couple of those. Our French book is printed out of Canada, and it's marketed all over the world and goes into the bookstores. Japan, in Japan, in the bookstores, they have a section of network marketing books. And our publisher, this goes back now probably well over 30 years now, publishes mostly all of those books. And what he did is that he put a sleeve around all the other books promoting my book. So my wife and I, we've done several tours all over Japan, all over the place. We've been just everywhere.
Now, you have a huge team. How do you build long distance?
Well, basically, in the book, there's a lot of what we call self-motivators. You know, a self-motivator is something that when you do it and you tell someone else, it reminds you of what you're doing and motivates yourself, okay? There's a new one that I just came up with here not too long ago. Let me just take a little quick sip here. I think you're going to like this. When you're talking to people you know, you can tell them you know, you've got two choices in life. You can get a job or you can get an opportunity. But see, there's no schools that I know of in the world that teach opportunity, okay? It's all about getting a job. So you go to school, you know, for 4 years to college to get a degree, to get a better job. Now, the question is, how many books did you read to get that degree? How much did those books cost? How much time did it take you to read them? And how much student debt are you in after that 4 years? Okay, now you get the degree, but by then they got your mind programmed that if you go for 2, 3 more years, get an MBA or a master's degree, then you're going to get a better job. So now you got more books, more expense, more student loan. So now you get the better job. Now I will guarantee you that within 5 to 7 years, the person hates their job, they hate their boss, they hate their commute, and they're going to be there for 30, 40 years, and they're going to retire. And let me tell you, they're not going to be too happy about the kind of money they have to retire. Now, that's one choice, to go that route. The other one is you can go opportunity. Now, with the opportunity, you can read one book, my book, because it's already proven itself over many years. There are people out there, I mean, you know, I don't like to mention names, but this one guy, you know, he gives me all the credit for his success, and he's now 92, and he's made over $70 million. And when I wrote and asked him if he could do a testimony for a new edition of our book in Europe, he was so appreciative of what he learned from us that within 3 days he paid for us to go on a cruise with him out of New Orleans. We lived in San Diego at the time, and paid for the airfare, the cruise, and we spent a whole week with this guy. And that whole time, he didn't once talk about his company, product, and marketing. All he wanted to talk about was his numbers. All it was about the numbers. So we got people all over the world that have made millions with us. So you read that one book, okay, and you understand network marketing. Now you got your degree, okay? Now you get our app, which is brand new. We have the only app in the world that teaches people how to drive so they can understand the business and how to drive. See, back in the old days when you would buy 5 or 10 books and loan them out, some of you get back, some of you wouldn't, and so forth. And Jeff Romaldi, I'm going to give you his information later because you can contact him and he can give you a demonstration where he syncs his phone with his computer and shows you exactly sharing a screen how the app works. But back in the old days, he spent $50 to $150 a month buying the tools, which he didn't mind doing because he was successful, made a lot of money, okay? But now people get our app for like $15, and in the app, they can literally send out the first 4 chapters of my book to anywhere in the world for $15 a month, as many as they want. And they got 5 different ways they can send them out. For example, email, they can send it WhatsApp, text, and so forth. So when people go through the app, then we say now they've got their master's degree. Now, we tell people they can do in 2 to 5 years what took us 24, okay? Well, in 2 to 5 years, using the material that they can learn in our app and using the app and so forth, they can retire in 2 to 5 years. Now we say they have their PhD in network marketing. So we're trying to put a little education thing with the industry so people don't really, they understand it's a serious thing.
Yeah.
But that's your choice. You want to go the opportunity route and retire in 2 to 5 years and have time, money, and health, or do you want to go to school for 4, 8 years, spend a fortune? I mean, recently I was in a doctor's office with my wife talking to the doctor, and he told me that he spent 4 years in medical school, and when he got out of school, he was $320,000 in student loans, and he had to spend $1,200 a month just on the interest on the loan. So we get rid of all that. Do network marketing, do the opportunity, because once people understand that anybody can do this business, that you don't have to be a salesperson. 90% of the people in network marketing are looking for salespeople, and that's kind of ironic when you think about it, because they have the least chance of making it. Now, as I say that, a salesperson can be huge in this business, but are under one condition, and one condition only: they've got to learn network marketing. I'll get rid of this. They have to learn network marketing. If they don't learn network marketing, they're not going to make it.
How you've been in the profession for so long? Do you see people more open to network marketing now than before, or is it still relatively the same? Because humans are humans.
I would say that all around the world, everybody thinks the problems that they have in their country are unique to them. It's the same. It's the same all over. Okay. And when I say, are people more open to it? Well, let me tell you something. Right now, with the virus going on, our business has exploded. Before the virus, we were averaging about 500 people a day coming into our business. Now, that sounds like a lot, but when you consider we've been in the business 24 years, and if you go, we used to teach you go 5, 25, 125, 625, 3,000, 125, 15,000, then 78,000, so forth. You've been in the business 24 years, 500 a day, not that big a deal. After the virus hit, within a month, we're over 600 to 700 people a day. See, one of the differences is that before the virus, we would maybe call people, initiate calls, and we'd wait for people to return their calls. Now you call people, and they actually answer the phone. We've been locked down now for almost, 6 months now? Crazy. But also, the company we're with had a big explosion. We went up 2 million in volume the first month of the virus because we have a lot of products that help build the immune system. And of course, I checked with the company, we haven't had one person in the world that's just checked positive for the virus. So building the immune system does have its advantages.
Don, how important is consistency to success?
Very, very important. If you just do the same thing on a regular, consistent basis, you will be successful. And I tell people, if you just do a little bit every day, if you just call somebody in your downline every day, eventually it's amazing with the geometric progression that you can have, how this, can grow for people. But man, I tell you, these people that go out and try to sell, it doesn't work. You've read my book, so napkin presentation number 4 tells you what your business should look like. Should look like the biggest building you've ever seen in your life, okay? But see, that represents the massive income from network marketing. But see, you cannot see the building and you cannot see the income until you dig the foundation. And the problem is too many people, they don't understand this. And if they understood it, they get to the point where they've got the foundation. It's almost ready to come out of the ground, and now they're off to the next company. And then they're off to the next company. They keep moving. They don't stick with one long enough. We were living in Las Vegas there for about 10 years. We had a couple condos there. We watched them build the foundation for the Palazzo. It took them 1 year, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And when they got finished, that foundation was so huge, they put a 7-story parking garage underground. But once that thing broke ground and the buildings started to go up, you ever notice how fast buildings go up once their foundation is built? Same thing happens in network marketing. But people have to understand, it's not going to happen overnight. It is going to take a little bit of time. And, that's why we say if you can't make enough money from day one in any program to pay your rent and all your mortgage and all your bills. So if your spouse can support you, that's fine, and so forth. But let me explain a couple of reasons why you can do in 2 to 5 years what took us 24. One, and we're in the process right now. The first time in 36 years, we're actually doing an upgrade on my book, because there's some things in the book now that are antiquated. I'll give you an example. Sizzle sessions. Everybody knows what a sizzle session is. That's you get together normally in a restaurant with maybe 6 to 10, 12, 20 people. Now, keep in mind that these people all came from maybe 10 to 12 different directions, driving anywhere from 15 minutes to an hour to get to the sizzle session. You spend an hour and a half, 2 hours at the sizzle session, which is really good, okay? And then you get home about 10, 30, 11 o'clock at night. The spouse was home taking care of the children. Now, back in the old days, if you did that more than once a week, now you know why historically, back in those days, women hated network marketing, because they were stuck at home while their spouse was out going to these meetings, right? Well, see, nowadays, you don't have to do one meeting a week. Like right now, we're on Skype. I mean, you'll have people maybe all over the world that'll see this presentation on Skype. We do meetings on Zoom. You could do 2, 3, 4, 5 meetings a day, every day. So look at how much faster your business can grow. Now, there's another reason why the business can grow fast. You can write down 5, 25, 125, 625, right in a line. And see, the book was written over 36 years ago. And we said, once you had 5 people, if you're working downline, duplicating, going 3 levels deep, you're busy working with your downline. And if you had more than 5 people, you couldn't really keep track and work with enough people to have more than 5. Now, because of technology, and I'm not talking about recruiting on the internet, I'm talking about Zoom, Skype, WhatsApp, websites. I mean, when you're ready to show someone your vehicle, you don't have to drive clear across town or whatever and spend an hour and a half in someone's home. You send them a website. They go through the website, you answer their questions. So these are all things that have speeded up the process. So now we say, once you have your 5 legs and they're duplicated, add another one, okay? And drive that one down 3 levels deep. Then add another one until you get to 10. Now, once you get to 10, listen to this. You could go the rest of your life and never sponsor another person. Because with those 10, you help them get 10. Put the 10 next to the 5. What do you have? You have a difference of 5. Okay? Now, 10 people get 10. You've got 100. Put that next to 25. You've got a difference of 75. Okay? 100 gets 10. That's 1,000. Next to 125, that's a difference of 875. Now, it's a little self-motivator for you to complete this on your own after the call, but you can take this out to about 5 or 6 levels. And let me tell you, with a multiple of 10, you go 4 or 5 levels deep, you never have to work another day in your life. You do that, you will do in 2 to 5 years what took us 24.
Hey, thank you for sharing that. You've been awesome, Don. Thank you for sharing your valuable time here. We're going to wrap up the show with some really quick questions to pick your brain. And these can be like one-liners, one sentence, or a couple words. The first one is, what is one of your favorite success quotes that motivates you?
Own your life.
I like that. I love that. What is one habit that's helped you become successful?
Pretty much doing the same thing every day. Keeping in touch with your downline, communicating.
What's the best piece of advice you ever received?
Never quit.
And do you have a favorite, aside from your app, because you've been talking a lot about it, anything else, anything like a Dropbox or Evernote or an app on your phone that you could recommend?
No. See, there are a lot of companies now that are coming out with apps,
Yeah.
but they're just on their vehicle, their company, product, and marketing plan. None of them have apps to teach people how to drive. Okay, so I don't need some of the other companies' apps. So, we have our own company website. The company we're with doesn't have an app, but they have a website. But we've been with them for 24 years, and there's no reason to change.
Aside from your books, which I'll put the link in the show notes post, and I highly recommend everyone to check it out. What's 2 or 3 other books that you could recommend?
I don't think I could recommend 2 or 3 other books. Think and Grow Rich. That's one. Other than that, I'm not a heavy reader. It's kind of interesting. I'll tell you something about me people don't know. When I was young, okay, like in grade school and stuff, I never liked reading books, fiction books. And see, my attitude was, why should I read about what somebody else made up in their mind? My life will be a book. So everything I do in my life has been like a book. We've been to 35 countries. We've been on 92 cruises. We've have had an unbelievable life. Okay, so reading fiction, I like reading success stories about people who become successful, Colonel Sanders, things like this. I'll do that. But other than that, I don't. What I would like to do is give you Jeff Romaldi's Facebook, because I think he does a demonstration with our app that is just totally awesome. And you can get him on Facebook at Jeffrey, that's Jeffrey, and last name is Romaldi, Romualdi, Romaldi. And you have the website for the app, but he can do a demonstration for your people on how that works.
Yes, and we'll definitely put all that stuff in the show notes page, the link to Don's contact info, and also with Jeff. Here's the last question, the $1 million question. You ready?
Okay, good.
So imagine you had to start all over again, total new in network marketing. You didn't know anyone. You didn't know your wife, grandkids. You didn't know Jeff, didn't know anyone. But you had all your current knowledge, skills, and wisdom. What's the first thing you do, or the first place you go to build a network marketing business from scratch?
Well, I would just go out and do what we call third-party invitation. Different people I'd run into and ask them if they know anybody, that would like to own their life. I would wear my hat, my pin. People would ask me about that. That would just lead to somebody. And then I could meet their friends, then meet their friends, and so forth. And, it's just, it's so simple. And now that we've got the app that does virtually all the talking for people, and that anybody can do it, our market is huge. See, the people, that think they're selling products and looking for salespeople, they have a small market, because 95% of the people don't want to sell. We have a market of 100%, because 95% of the people want something. The 5% of the people on top, they already have it all. They want to live forever. And so we say they make great customers. So we've got a huge, huge, huge market. And one of the things that we've had with our success was a goal. We built what we call Failla Villa. You can go on the website, look that one up, failavilla.com. And that's a private resort that like a six minutes from where we live. It's on 4.5 acres. We put in clay tennis court, grass court, putting greens, pickleball courts, beautiful home, and so forth. So that was one of our goals, to do something like that.
As we wrap up, Don, thank you so much. Any last words or advice? And then what's the best way our listeners can connect with you?
Well, they can connect with me on Skype. Just go to don.failla, if you don't put the dot in there, you'll get my old computer, which I never look at, and that would be the best bet. And our email address is my name, small letters, no spaces, Don Failla. Forget the dot there. Don Failla at Cox.net. Don Failla at Cox.net.
Any last words of wisdom?
Just hang in there, keep going, check out the app. It's going to revolutionize the industry, because people, they need to know how to drive. Quit trying to show your vehicle until people know how to drive.
MLM Nation, you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. And today you may hang out with Don Failla. So keep up the momentum and go to MLMNation.com, click on the podcast tab, and go to the show notes, and all the links to the resources, the app that Don talked about, and also his books will be right there. Hey, in order to be successful in network marketing and in life and in business, you must help others. So Don, thanks again for sharing your valuable time with MLM Nation. We appreciate you, and we're grateful for you for having a positive impact on millions of distributors worldwide. Thank you so much again, and God bless you.
Thank you, Simon, for having me.